toxic, but is still masculinity Lucy wants to reject without realizing it. Emmett is what she thought she should be, but doesn't want to be. Also, you need to remember that this movie came out after the Lego Batman movie, which, by the way, is also an excellent movie, and as I've mentioned in the opening of this video, very queer. Go watch the Sin Squad's video on it, and a little bird told me that Aronnox is going to be making a video on it on the future, so I'm excited to see that. Nevertheless, I'm pointing this out because of how Batman is acting during his introduction in Apocalypseburg. The next segment we get though is honestly kind of cute, with Emma trying to restore things to the nicer way they were before by building a cute new house. The cutest part is of course Princess Unikitty Apocalypse Edition purring away in her own room. We love our princess, don't we? We especially love her after Emmett and Wildcell have a heart-to-heart about Emmett needing to grow up, and Unikitty becomes a giant awesome beast to go figure out what the new invader is. And the new invader is delightful in the chase scene, especially because all the projectiles are cutesy shaped and voiced by Sam Lavagnino. You know, Catbug, ASDF Movies Muffin. For a teen, his voice is iconic, and it will be both a loss and a gain for the world of voice acting when he hits puberty, if he hasn't hit it already. The chase sequence, while fun though, and shows that someone let a 13-year-old watch Mad Max Fury Road, is really something we can skip over for the important plot beat. General Mayhem of the Sistar system introduces herself, does a cheeky, "We're so subversive" by pointing out how we didn't do a gaslight gatekeep girl boss last movie, and kidnaps Batman, Outstyle, Penny, Unikitty, and Melbeard because the Queen is inviting them to a wedding where Batman is to be the groom. Hey, did you know RSVP stands for Répondez s'il vous plaît, which is just reply if it pleases you in French? Aren't we bougie etiquette rules fun? After the kidnapping, we see Emmett fail to raise an army and go on the journey by himself. But it takes a bit for us to return to him as we focus on her gang in the Sistar system at the moment, as they go meet Queen Whatever I Wanna Be. And I know it isn't in vogue to have genderfucky shapeshifters as queer rep and also down with the monarchy, but I have to say I really vibe with the Queen. The movie turns into a musical at this point because it is very fluid in terms of is this play or is this real, and this part of the narrative is controlled by Bianca, the younger sister. Also, I have to say I really vibe with the Sparkle Gem vampire lady with a purple side shave of crystal hair, like girl me too the fuck. Queen Whatever I Wanna Be is terrible at communication though, coming off as a malicious evil entity by singing a song about how she isn't that. When the song finishes, we're told about the wedding, she sends our stinky apocalypse scan to take a fucking shower. Hey, all this isn't an anime con, take care of yourselves. Like, I know you don't want to because being naked reminds you of your body changing in ways that hurt you and you don't know why, and you'd rather ignore it by not seeing it, but smelling like shit will only make you feel worse, Lucy. Take it from me. Now we jump back to Emmett. Dear, sweet, naive Emmett, who is trying to make his way through the Stairgate and into the Sistar system, only to need rescuing. And rescued he gets by Rex Dangerous. Should I talk about him now or later during the important reveal? I'll keep it for the reveal. I mean, I already said it all the way at the start, but it'll help with the flow of ideas here for me to do that. Rex saves Emmett, Emmett gets a role model, and they're off to save Wildstyle and the gang, which is in the middle of getting a spot treatment. A spot treatment that results in Wildstyle's hair getting undyed. Not in the way you may think though. She doesn't lose the pink and blue stripes, she loses the black. Her hair is naturally 2/3 of the trans flag. The patch she's trying to hide is cutesy and sweet, like an egg being a kind, gentle soul but getting that beaten out of them by their environment. And also that she was the front woman for the band that sung Everything is Awesome, which is why she hates the song so much, because it was her dark past where she was a cog in the, pop culture machine. And I realized that's not revealed until the very end of the movie, but I figure I mention it because knowing this, it's easy to read the desire to hire feminine interests to avoid punishment for gender transgression into it. We start jumping back and forth a lot here between Wildstyle and Emmett up until they meet up. We're shown that the play Bianca has with the minifigs is much nicer than the harsh apocalyptic environment Lucy is providing them in her brooding tuning units. And we get another song, the one that promises to get stuck in our heads. It does. Fuck me, does it ever. And Rex is trying to convince Emmett that all the other minifigs have been brainwashed by the Queen, which, considering Batman is flossing, I'd be fit to believe it too. The song ends with Rex teaching Emmett how to break things. We then get the cute reunion of Emmett and Wildstyle. This leads us into another song, where the Queen goes for reverse psychology to have Batman agree to the wedding, which they need to do before Armageddon happens. And let me tell you, it's a bop. When the songs aren't jokes, they're excellent. But of course, Emmett, Wildstyle, and Rex infiltrate the kitchen to see the cake being made, which confuses them. How could it summon the end of the world? It is also here that Lucy's hair is revealed and Rex starts undermining her, claiming she's brainwashed. Emmett doesn't buy it yet, thankfully. This leads to us getting a fight between Wildstyle and General Mayhem, during which Rex continues trying to make Emmett think Lucy is brainwashed. This results in Mayhem losing her helmet, revealing how cute she is, and that the wedding is to try and stop Armageddon, not cause it. Because the fighting was started by Lucy misunderstanding Bianca, by Bianca being too young to really talk, but loving what her older sister built and being inspired by her and wanting to build as well. And the only reason General Mayhem acted all tough and badass? Lucy wouldn't listen, and Bianca continued being awful at talking and expressing herself and thought that was the only way to get through to Lucy. Like, can you expect a 9-year-old to be good at that? Can you expect a 4-year-old to be good at that, which is when this whole thing started? You can't. Wildstyle starts understanding though. She finally gets it once she sees the Queen's original form. The heart Emmett built when the Duplons first arrived. The heart that inspired the entirety of the Sistar system. They're not the bad guys. Rex is. Listen closely when I tell you this next part. It's important that you do. Especially because the rule of threes now obliges me to explain why I've said when I tell you 3 times.
Is that a number?
When I Tell You is a movie script by Mia Moore about a trans woman going back in time to meet her younger ex-self and help prevent some mistakes. Her name is Naomi, and there is a running joke of posting movie screenshots of man dudes and their manic pixie dream girls with the caption, "When I Tell You."
Did something happen? Okay. Fuck. May have to restart the computer. Okay. Okay, we're back. You're not, whoever you were. Okay. Resuming.
Basically suggesting the black dude transitions into the manic pixie dream girl. So while Wildstyle is the Naomi in this allegory, Rex is the antithesis. An older, damaged you trying very hard to turn you into themselves. Both Emmett and Rex represent denial. One of things having changed and needing to change, and the other of truth. It makes sense why Rex's name is no longer Truth in Hebrew, but King in Latin. Imagine the following scenario. You're a depressed, smart teen, and two future yous show up. One is a really pretty, vibrant, happy girl, and the other is a bitter dude. They're both from the future, and they're both hoping to help you guide towards themselves. But while the happy girl wants you to be happy in yourself, the bitter dude wants you to become an exact copy of him, to basically guarantee his existence. The twist in this example is that the bitter dude is you 3 years in the future, and the happy girl is you 6 years in the future. And she's hoping to skip over that bitter stage to make sure you don't suffer like the bitter dude did. In the case of the Lego movie though, Rex's origin is very specific. When he tried to go save Wildstyle and the others, he did not make it through the stairgate. He got knocked under the dryer, where he stayed for a long time until he willed himself to move and meet space. He then built a time machine to save Emmett and cause Armageddon, making sure Emmett becomes him in the process and that he can be free of the narrative space. Making sure he becomes a bitter, lonely, heartbroken guy whose only goal in life is destruction, because nobody came to save him. And Emmett helps him achieve his goal, inadvertently. Armageddon happens. Wildstyle gets knocked into meat space, seeing what happens, what Armageddon really is. Lucy's and Bianca's mom has them put away all the Lego because they can't play together without a fight starting. Rex tosses Emmett under the dryer to become him. We get another song. Lucy sees the heart and goes to apologize to her sister. Wildstyle reaches Emmett, and because she came for him, came to rescue him, Rex never happens. Emmett never becomes the bitter, destructive sad guy. Lucy gets over her edginess and plays with her sister. I think it's a sweet end, and I do hope Lucy figures herself out soon and comes out. It's a lot of small things that come together into a whole for this reading, especially the narratives presented in these stories and which characters are developed. Because, fuck, I didn't even cover the fact that every time Rex introduces himself, it includes a bunch of macho occupations that are also some of Worst Chris's most known roles. A toxic role model, bury you attempting to be as masculine as possible. I hope Lucy doesn't end up growing a denial beard. Actually, let me go back to the whole representations in the narrative thing. Lucy has 3 that shows different aspects of her that she has to reconcile. Wildstyle is the past and true self she's trying to hide with the whole Sharpie hair and name change. Emmett is who she thinks she's supposed to be, following instructions like a good little generic boy. And Rex? Rex has her if she gets red-pilled. Rex in the narrative only happens because Emmett fails. Emmett gets lost, has nobody around him, and grows bitter and resentful and becomes a pillar of toxic masculinity. He is Lucy raging against the machine, yelling, "Is this what you want? Are you satisfied now?" To hide the pain, her dysphoria at the puberty she's starting, turning it up to 11. It is why the day is saved only when Wildstyle, no longer hiding her past, no longer ashamed of who she used to be, who she is in fact, comes to save Emmett. Community saves lives. I can tell you how much it hurt to think I was the only queer person for miles, that there was nobody around who could understand me. If I hadn't met Mordred Transmom on Tumblr and became friends with her, I don't know where I would be today. Probably nowhere healthy. Wildstyle is Lucy's true self, and saving Emmett represents her saving the cheerful optimism of him, but not the masculinity. When Lucy plays with her sister at the end, it isn't destructive like before. Her questions of, "What kind of dance party is this?" Some more like, "Bianca, come on, we can do better," instead of being dismissive. And it ties into the meta narrative of what LEGO was undergoing. As I mentioned earlier, LEGO was dying until it introduced femininity into itself to regain its LOL position. And this is shown in the second part. It is only when Lucy accepts her sister being part of her life and part of her play that Armageddon is reversed. Both of these movies show the importance of self-expression when faced with enforced conformity. That only you can do what you do, that only you can be you. And that is even more important for queer people, especially queer youth, to see. We're living through the worst part of a culture war right now. Legislation is proposed to make the lives of trans people hell. As I'm recording this video, a day before, porn actress, cis one porn actress that is a known sexual assaulter and rapist, posted an entire manifesto screed asking, encouraging the lynchings and genocide of a trans woman. And the media keeps representing us as the monsters. In face of all that, it is important we shave half our head, dye the rest purple, flip the double bowler at the establishment and go, fuck you, you don't control me, you're never getting
Back.
getting rid of me. Honestly, it's kind of a bummer the other two LEGO movies don't have this much of a meta narrative to them. But at least the LEGO Batman one is about Batman not wanting to admit that Joker is his nemesis, which is Scope 4 doesn't want to admit they're boyfriends, as proposed in the Sin Squad video. If you still have access to your bricks, go grab them and play. I'm sure they'll appreciate not being doomed to an eternity in a cosmic storage bin. Hey, thanks so much for watching. This was my very first video essay that I ever wrote. It wasn't the first thing I ever wrote, since I'm an author, got a book out. You can see the title of it on my VTuber's chest here, you know, Deviled Egg, Gourmet Deviled Egg. You can find it on Amazon or Itch. I'll link both in the description. Nevertheless, I have to give a big shout out and a lot of thanks to both Lady Knight the Brave and Aeronok for checking out the script and helping me with it and giving me a lot of help with this video overall. I respect them both as creators, as essayists, and I'm glad to have had them in a little bit of a mentor role when making